Judge Charnelle Bjelkengren botched a question about the Constitution. She was nominated by this woman named Senator Murray, who said that she's very qualified and she's very excited to have her on the federal bench. Let's listen to the opening justification for her addition.
It is really my privilege to introduce Judge Charnelle Bjelkengren,
Bjelkengren,
Biden's nominee to serve as United States District Judge for the Eastern District of Washington, who I was so glad to recommend. And I'm also pleased to welcome with her, her mother, Lavon, her sister, Carissa, and her Aunt Brenda, who are with us today.
Shout out to Brenda and Aunt Carissa.
You're all very proud.
Yes,
all
Aunt
of
Carissa.
You should be. Charnelle is an exceptional nominee, and I'm confident she will serve the people of Washington State with distinction.
All right.
Because that's exactly what she has done throughout her entire career. From her work as Assistant Attorney General in Washington State to her time as an administrative law judge for the Washington State Office of Administrative Hearings.
Oh, no. She's an MVD judge? Oh, no. She's an MVD judge. Oh, no. Okay, so we love the MVD judges, especially here in Arizona. We love them. They're extremely brilliant. Shout out to all the motor vehicle department judges here in Arizona. We love you guys. Amazing. But elsewhere, oh gosh, she's an MVD judge. She's an administrative law judge, all right, who deals with vehicle licensing arguments when you get charged with a DUI. Let's listen.
Charnelle is an exceptional nominee, and I'm confident she will serve the people of Washington State with distinction, because that's exactly what she has done throughout her entire career. From her work as Assistant Attorney General in Washington State to her time as an administrative law judge for the Washington State Office of Administrative Hearings.
Oh, yeah, that's a DUI judge.
To her appointment to the Spokane County Superior Court in 2019.
Superior Court, usually those are felony courts. So a Superior Court judge, that's a level up than a MVD judge.
Judge Bjelkengren has over 2 decades of experience serving the people of Washington State, working thoughtfully through tough legal questions that affect their daily lives, and ensuring that we have a justice system that treats people fairly and works for everyone, not just the powerful and well-connected. And I, like many of you on both sides of this aisle, believe the American people deserve a judiciary that reflects the diversity of this country. Judge Bjelkengren would be the first Black federal judge to serve in the Eastern District of Washington State.
Did you hear that?
That matters.
Did you hear that? That matters. That matters. We're going to come back to that.
I was proud to recommend Judge Bjelkengren to President Biden at the suggestion of my nonpartisan Judicial Merit Selection Panel, who were equally impressed by her temperament, her sound judgment, and impressive resume.
Nice. Okay, so sounds like an amazing person. Now, this is Senator Murray, who nominates an MVD judge who then became a Superior Court judge to this federal position. This is an interesting little summation of what exactly is going on here. This is Senator Murray's homepage at murray.senate.gov, and you can see an interesting photo she selected for herself. But this is what she wrote here. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. This is when she nominated her previously. Okay. This is the type of nomination. I wanted to share this sort of press release so you can see how people like Senator Murray think, right? We joke all the time that they treat people like trading cards. Like they say, oh, I've got an Asian American and a Black guy, and I've got a gay, lesbian, whatever, right? They treat people with labels. It's very disgusting behavior. You'll see it on full display right here. Most recently, Senator Murray secured the confirmations of Tana Lynn, Washington State's first ever Asian American federal judge. Lauren King, also a tribal law expert who served as Washington's first ever Native American federal judge. John Chun, who's going to be the first Asian American man to serve as a federal judge. Okay, this is what Senator Murray does. She secures and this, I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're all very good people and highly qualified. But just listen, like, okay, she's literally going through them like she has this one. I've got this one collected. I've got this one collected. I've got this one collected. And I've got this one collected. So she goes through. She says, boom, here's what I got. I got myself an Asian American, got one of those. I've got myself another Native American, got one of those. I got myself an Asian American man, boom, nailed that one. I also have a Mexican immigrant, son of a Mexican immigrant, and a former immigration attorney, got one of those. So shout out to the Mexican immigrants. We've got Senator Murray who also worked as a farm worker and also a son of a Mexican immigrant, who also worked from farm laborers and maids and factory workers. So, man, that's like a whole bunch of them there. We have a leading civil rights lawyer named Jamal, first nominee with a disability. Oh, got the disability too. Wow. So, all right, that's like how they think. Okay. That's her resume. All right. That's her resume. It's what they do. It's all labels and trading cards. I got this one. I've got this one. Oh man, I can't beat. You got a full house? What is she? She had like 3 Mexican immigrants on here and like 2 Asians, man. That's a full house. Oh man, you can't even compete with that. It's pretty amazing. That is just amazing. All right. So that's what's going on over from Senator Murray. Now, when this actually lands on the Senate floor, we get some questions about this. Some curious questions. One of them comes from Senator Kennedy, who asked the following question. Specifically, a little bit of a gotcha here, but says, can you tell us about some very basic mechanics about the U.S. Constitution, madam?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations to all of you. Judge on the far end, tell me what Article 5 of the Constitution does.
Pause at home. Do you know? Do you know Article 5? Not the Fifth Amendment, Article 5.
Article 5 is not coming to mind at the moment.
Okay. How about Article 2?
How about you at home? Article 2? That one's way easier. Article 2 is way easier. Article 5, I can understand you missing. But Article 2, that's pretty easy. Come on.
Neither is Article 2.
Oh, no. He's scratching his head.
Do you know what purposivism is?
In my 12 years as an assistant attorney general and my 9 years serving as a judge, I was not faced with that precise question. We are the highest trial court in Washington state, so I'm frequently faced with issues that I'm not familiar with, and I thoroughly review the law, research, and apply the law to the facts presented to me.
Well, you're going to be faced with it if you're confirmed. I can assure you of that.
Yikes. Yikes. All right, so that didn't work out too well. Now, look, you know, those gotcha questions, she's probably nervous. And to be fair, when you're a judge, you really don't look at the Constitution basically ever, right? You're looking at statutory law, but you still want to look at the Constitution and you should basically know the mechanics of this stuff. And so he gets a little bit, when he said purposivism, right? He says purposivism. And so you're kind of like, what did he say? Well, if you're playing along at home, this is a different type of interpretation of the law. We talk a lot about this here, right? We have textualism. We have strict interpretation of the actual text in the law. We talk about living, breathing constitutions where the liberals think that the Constitution should sort of reflect the nature of the time, right? If you're given a legal problem, how do you analyze the problem? There's all different theories about how to do it. Even if you're reading the law, like you might think the law says what the law says, but there's a different theory about how to read that text. One of them is called purposivism. Here it says it's an approach to statutory and constitutional interpretation under which common law courts interpret and enactment a law within the context of the law's purpose, right? So they say, well, the law says this, but that's different than what the purpose of the law is. So we're not going to do what the law says in the text. We're just going to follow the purpose of the law as it was intended to be imposed by the drafters of the statute. Right. So you can see how you might have a pretty different conclusion if you do that. The law might say one thing on its face, but other people will say, but the purpose says this. And then they just go and change everything. Right. This is why there's a lot of people that have a big problem with this type of law, because it's very amorphous. It can mean whatever the heck you want it to mean. And it often does, because the judges just interpret it accordingly. That's why he was asking about it. Now, if you're playing along at home, did you know what Article 5 was? She didn't. The answer is on your screen. Amendments. Amending the Constitution. It's kind of a trickier one. Article 5. Article 5 outlines the process for amending the Constitution. 8 states' constitutions in effect in 1787 included an amendment mechanism How about Article 2? Article 2. Would have been really bad if she got Article 3 wrong. But Article 2 is... Oh, that's Article 5. Article 2 is the executive. I put the wrong screenshot on there. So the correct screenshot would have said the executive branch. But it's not there because I included Article 5 twice. But those are the answers, my friends. I'm sure many of you got Article 2 at home. Article 3 is the judiciary. So if she would have gotten that one wrong, it would have been even worse. He didn't ask her about it, but he should have, because that would have been more funny. Anyways, let's wrap it up there, my friends. That is it for us on the day. Thank you for liking this video wherever it is you're watching it and subscribing so you can follow us along on the next one.